Good afternoon, welcome to this week's edition of CopaLoadofRacing, previewing the action at Sandown and Wolverhampton. We'll also look at Meydan, where it's Super Saturday. Now there's racing at Ayr tomorrow, they're also racing today in actual fact, but there's racing at Ayr tomorrow. The decorations aren't out until after 12, and I've had to record this vlog earlier than usual due to unforeseen circumstances. So we'll give you tips for Ayr tomorrow on Twitter. If you follow my Twitter account, I'll put the tips up tomorrow morning for Ayr if you're off there. There's gates, there's tickets, of course there's gates into any race course, but there's tickets on the gate tomorrow at Ayr if you want to fancy going along. Some really good action, some good racing. Early decorations look not bad, but it's no point in me really looking too much into it just now. Until the final decks are declared. There's also racing at Kelso on Sunday, if you fancy a bit of that. That's the meeting that was abandoned due to the snow recently, so they've managed to get it rescheduled for Sunday, which is fantastic. And again, there'll be some great action there at the Borders track if you can get along to that as well. There'll be tickets on the gate for that meeting. So, because of the fact that the decks aren't really declared for National Hunt Racing 24 hours, 48-hour decks are coming in for Cheltenham Festival, which for somebody like me is great, but for owners and connections it's not the greatest thing. Remember, we are starting our preview for Cheltenham on Monday night. That will be the big preview where we'll look at the whole week and give you my thoughts for the 4 days. I'll also put up a vlog on the Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday night, just giving you a wee bit of thought on what's been happening and reminders of my tips, and especially for the handicaps when the decks come out for them as well. So lots to look forward to, but some good action tomorrow. The Imperial Cup, of course, traditionally always on the eve of the festival, the 2 mile handicap at Sandown. And it's a decent enough race. This one, they've declared, they usually declare for the big handicaps in 48 hours notice there, so we've managed to get, I've managed to have a look at that race and come up with a couple of tips for you. The horse that I fancy, it's running a bit, I think he's around about 8 to 1 at the moment. It's Friday Night Light for David Pipe, and Tom Scudamore will be on board. He won back in January at Newbury on a similar type of surface. It's going to be pretty testing, I would imagine, at Sandown on Saturday. So he likes conditions. He's a hold-up horse, so again, when they come into this final straight, the home straight at Sandown, it takes a lot of getting that Sandown hill, and a hold-up horse like this might just suit it, might just come through some beaten horses and get up there and win if he'll be given a patient ride, I'm sure, by Tom Scudamore. He's hit the bar since that victory. He's hit the bar twice, in fact, recently at Ascot. I think it was at half a length he was beaten by, but you know, I mean, he's certainly in the right type of form, likes the surface, so he'll go there with a real good chance. So that would be my horse to put on the nose for the Imperial Cup. That's Friday Night Light. One that I'll throw in each way, does like Sandown. It's a shot in the dark here with Gas and Golf. This type of level, he's been shown up at times. I think he's only won a couple of races in his career. And this is, of course, it's a big Class 2 handicap, so it'll take a lot for him to win. But it does like the surface, does like Sandown, seems to perform well there. And he's in with a real place. If you shop around with the bookies, see who's given the best place offerings, but also watch what their you know, what their odds are, what they're giving you. Is it for their places, is it 5th or 6th? Well, not, you don't generally find the 6th of the odds in your high street bookmakers, but go for the quarterly odds and the more placing you can get, and see what best price you can get for Gas and Golf, which I think will run a decent race and hopefully sneak a place in there. So Friday Night Light on the nose, Gas and Golf, a wee each way punt for that one. Now, Wolverhampton, they've got another good all-weather flat meeting, and we're later on this month, of course, we'll have Doncaster, the start of the turf season, which I'm looking forward to greatly, being a big fan of the flat. But we've had some really decent all-weather meetings of late. Of course, we've also got the Good Friday meeting at Lingfield at the end of this month, over the Easter weekend, and that's proven more and more popular as years go by. So looking at Wolverhampton, this week we have two races that I've looked at. One is a Class 2 handicap. It's actually the Lincoln Trial, and prep for, of course, the Lincoln at Doncaster, as I said earlier. And the horse I'm going to look at is the Richard Fahey, who has a good record in this race. He won it last year, and he's got Constantino with Paul Hannigan on board. Won at Lingfield last weekend, so it's in the right mood, it's in the right form. Won pretty well, I thought, at Lingfield. So, as I say, he's got good form coming into this, and Fahey always seems to target some decent horses for this race, and likes the all-weather as it was proven at Lingfield last week. So I think he's in with a real chance, Constantino, and decent enough price. I think he's third best in the market at the moment, and he should run well for you. Now, looking at the big race, the Lady Wolfrina Stakes, I think it's called. I should have written it down, but yeah, a listed contest. This one, now there's a second thoughts, the Willie Haggis and Ryan Moore connection teaming up here, and it'll maybe go off a shade of odds on, in fact, but I'm always looking to get these odds on favourites beaten, and the one that I'm going to look at is a Mark Johnson horse, Masham Star. Now, the strike rate, PJ McDonald's on board, and he's really becoming a good jockey for Mark Johnson. His strike rate for Mark Johnson is very good. This horse has been off for about 145 days, so he's coming back after a bit of a break. Yeah, a bit of the unknown how well he's going to perform. Maybe the market will show something tomorrow. We'll see what the vibes are like coming from the Johnston Yard. But I think it's worth a punt. He really seems to excel on all weather surfaces. He's ran well at Chelmsford City previously, and I think back on the all weather will bring the best out of him. And for that, this horse is the one that I think can target beating the odds-on favourite if it does go off odds-on. But it'll be the favourite anyway. So Masham Star, the one to beat the odds-on favourite in that race at Wolverhampton. Now, it's Super Saturday over at Meydan, where I'm going to give you a bet for a Trixie or a doubles and trebles, or just a straight treble if you want to put it on there. And I'm going to say Ertijal, Heavy Metal, Thundersnow. That's your three. Stick them on a coupon, a Trixie or a treble. I think they'll get it. I mean, you're looking at short odds for most of them. Even money maybe for Heavy Metal, odds on certainly for Ertijal, Thundersnow maybe 6 to 4, 5 to, we'll see, but stick them on, wee Aki, see how you get on. That could just pay your Saturday night out or your Saturday night takeaway for you. So that's, I will say that again, Ertijal, Heavy Metal and Thundersnow for Meydan Super Saturday. So we're not far away from obviously Dubai World Cup night, which will be in a few weeks time, and that's us really then starting to get into the flat season. But of course next week is Cheltenham, and there's also been news this week that the defending champion Sizing John will not, Jessica Harrington's come out last night to say sadly he's picked up an injury and will not be defending his title on Friday next week, which is a big disappointment, but it just shows you what can happen. We've seen this previously. You look at Don Cossack never went out to defend his title. Conegry was the same. So it just shows you how you look back at great horses like Best Mate, who came back year after year and defended his title and won it 3 times in a row. You think of Denman, you think of Koto Star, and you know these horses that came back year after year. Not all the time with Kato Star, for example, but they came back. Denman had his problems, but you know what, he won one and was runner-up 3 times. So it shows you what it can take a lot out of a horse, and it you know, and then the next season you could just fall out of luck, and that's sometimes you start to think that when you get a situation like that and you hear about connections that are a little bit unsure, we'll maybe not do it this year, we'll target the race next year. You just don't know what's round the corner. Look at one for Arthur, for example, winning the Grand National. If Lucinda Russell maybe felt, nah, it's not, I know he's won the Classic Chase, we'll maybe target something else and then go for the National next year. He's been out all this season, but crucial thing is he has won that National, and okay, he's not going to get the chance to do a red rum and try and defend his title this year, but hopefully he'll come back next year. And the same for Sandown John. I'm so hopeful that he can come back and go, because I'm of the thinking I want this Mike Bite beaten. I'm not on this bandwagon that believes this is a truly excellent chaser, staying chaser. I'm happy to be proved wrong, and I know he's won, but I'm looking back at who he's beat so far, like a Whisper, Double Shuffle by a length. Come on. Sandown John was one of the horses that could have quite easily beaten him. At the moment, with the way the ground looks like it's going to be at Cheltenham next week, you're looking at a real bit of cut in the ground. Then Native River really has to come into your thoughts. But there's a whole load of other horses that I think have got a pretty good chance, or even at bigger prices. But we'll look at that on Monday night when we get a clearer picture of who's actually still going to be in the race. Hopefully we don't get any more big names falling out of the festival. It's disappointing when that happens. But there's a few races next week that are set up to be absolute crackers, including the Stayers Hurdle, which usually sometimes it's a short odds on favourite, or it's not the deepest field, but you know, my heart's going for Sam Spinner, but we'll see what goes with that. There's Champion Hurdle looks interesting. I know Belvedere's the big favourite, but I'm so glad Elgin's in there now, because I think he will put it up to Belvedere, and this horse is just improving, and hey, that would be great to see it go and win for Alan King, bring back days of when Catchit won the Champion Hurdle. But that's all to come on Monday night, and I'll get things sorted out over the weekend so that we can really get a good juicy preview in for you then. So as I say, tomorrow racing at Ayr, get along if you can. Some really decent action, some real difficult handicaps I'm sure there'll be there at Ayr, and then Kelso on Sunday. So I'll put the tips up for them on my Twitter account, and I'll put a link to my Twitter page on the vlog for you. Okay, so tips, just to remind you, gas and golf each way in the Imperial Cup. Friday night light on the nose for that race at Sandown, it's 225 there. At Wolverhampton, Constantino in the Class 2 handicap, and I've not got the times there for that race, which is very disappointing, but it's the Class 2 handicap for that one, the Lincoln Trial, and then the listed Lady Wolfrunner Stakes. It's Masham Star to beat the odds-on favourite for us. And at Meydan over in Dubai, your Trixie is Heavy Metal, Thunder Snow and Ertijal. Okay, right, hope you enjoy your racing over the weekend, and I know we're all looking forward to the festival. Who wouldn't be? It's fantastic. Can't wait for it all to get underway. So I'll see you Monday night. Have a great weekend. CopaLoad of Racing.